Greetings and salutations, YouTube family and friends. T-Rav Vlogs here. What's up, guys? Today, I'd like to take you on a bit of a journey. As you know, I've had my Undertaker wig for almost a year now, and in that year, I have certainly gotten my money's worth out of this thing. Between going to conventions and all the different videos and stuff that I've done with him, that hair's been through a lot, and as a result, well, let me just show you. Looking a tad rough, huh? It's very tangled, matted quite a bit. The inside is horribly frizzed because of all of the rubbing on the robe that it's done, and it feels stiff and very well used. So today I'm going to give this guy a wash and treatment to try and get him looking pretty much good as new again. So I'm going to take you guys along with me, and hopefully you and I will learn a thing or two. So stay tuned. Here we go. So the first thing we want to do is take our cleaning area, our sink or tub or whatever you're going to use to wash your wig, and we're going to want to fill it with cool to semi-lukewarm water. Now, I don't really have to worry about this because mine's a straight wig, but you never want to use really hot water to wash a wig, because if there's any styling that's in the wig, if it's curly or whatnot, then the heat is going to end up taking out all of that style. So I'm just going to go ahead and err on the side of caution anyway and use the cold water. So let's get this guy filled up and we'll go from there. Okay, so now we have some water in our sink. I am going to be using a basic baby shampoo because you don't really want to use a lot of bells and whistles when it comes to your cleaning supplies when it comes to a wig. Remember, we're not cleaning real hair, we're basically cleaning plastic. So a wig shampoo, liquid soap, or just the basic shampoo will do you. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put about a cap's worth, maybe a little more of this stuff in here because it is a bigger wig. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. We're going to start getting it a little sudsy, so we'll use a little bit more here. But you don't want to go overboard because remember, a wig does not produce its own oils like human hair does. So you really don't need to be washing a wig a whole lot unless you wear it a whole lot. And like I told you before, I've got a lot of mileage out of this wig, so I'm going to be extra careful cleaning this guy because I have a lot of big plans for Undertaker still, and I want to make sure that he is all well and good and ready to go. Nice and shampoo-like here. We'll get a little more of the cap rinsed out here, and we shall insert the wig. Okay, old man, time to wash your hair. So we're just going to set the wig into the water here. Be very careful to be gentle because the more careless you are, the more likely you'll be to get this guy tangled. So we get him in there, make sure all of it's in, and what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly swish it back and forth. Just a little swishing. You don't want to agitate it very much. You don't want to get in there with your hands and start scrubbing every little fine detail here, because if you do that, then you're really going to get the sucker tangled, and that's not what we're after. We're just going to give it a light swish back and forth here to get some of the soap into all the fibers, and we'll go from there. I'll even flip it to make sure that both sides get a good washing. Okay, now that we've given it a good swishing around, I've heard a few different schools of thought. I've heard some say to let it soak for a while. I've heard others say once you've given it a washing, that's it, just go ahead and rinse. So I think what I'll do is, again, because there is a lot of hair here, I'm going to let it soak for just a moment, then I'll come back to it and we'll start with the rinsing process. I'll see you guys then. Right, so I've let it soak for a little bit and now I have drained the sink, so we will get to the rinsing process now. So I'll just go ahead and turn the water on and we'll get her going. Make sure you get all the pieces of the wig here, because remember, it's soaked thoroughly. So make sure you give it a good rinsing to get all that soap out. If you leave any in, then that's going to create a residue on the wig, and you really don't want that. One of the good things about having the kitchen sink here is I've got this little sprayer, so if I so feel inclined, I can give him a good spray down like that. But if you think that's going to be too rough, you can always go back to the faucet and keep your drain plugged, so that way the rest of it can get rinsed off as well. And you can just pick it up and give it a good run through to make sure that all that soap comes right out. Alright, so the wig has been rinsed, and now we let it dry. Word of warning, whatever you do, do not twist and wring out the wig. You can squeeze some of the water out if you want. Like here at the bottom, you can squeeze, let some of it out. But do not wring it. You're going to get it even more tangled and you're going to stretch the fibers. And we really don't want to do that. Ideally, what we should do is we'll take a towel, lay it on there, and we'll pat it dry. So I'll get that ready, and I'll see you guys then. Right, so here is our towel. Got the wig on the towel, and then what we'll do is we'll just fold it over, and we'll give it a nice, easy, gentle pat. Just like that. Okay? And in doing that, that's going to get a lot of the extra water out. And in order to ensure that both sides are equally dry, flip her over, set it over there, and repeat the process. Once you've done that, it's best to just leave it hang and drip dry for a while. And once it's done that, then we can begin the daunting task of getting all the tangles, the mats, and the frizz out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and hang this outside. It's a beautiful day, nice and warm. So I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a quick dry, and then we'll start working on the fine details. Stay tuned. Alright guys, the wig has been thoroughly dried, and already you can kind of tell that it's looking a lot more shiny and a lot more manageable. So I'm going to go in with a very wide-toothed detangling comb here, and we'll go in and see if we can start getting rid of some of the extra hard tangles before we go in with some detangling spray and the flat iron. Here we go. So I'll just start at the bottom here, go very carefully, and we'll start working out some of these frizzy snags. It's always best when you're working on this to start at the very bottom, and if you're having some issues with some particularly gnarly tangles, to go through with your fingers and work them out. That's usually the best technique to use. And you can see in the back here, the frizz is still really strong with that. So I will be using the flat iron to take care of all that. But for the most part, if it's not overly frizzy, all you really have to do is just start from the bottom, work your way up. You can already see that the tangles are starting to work themselves out. So I'll give this a good brush down, and we'll see how it looks after we get done. So some preemptive combing has definitely helped the condition of the wig. It's still very frizzy, but again, we'll be addressing that in a moment. But the tangles have become a lot more manageable. I can run my fingers through a majority of the wig, with the exception of a few odd tangles here and there. But it's a lot more manageable than it was. I used to not be able to even do this much before I had this thing washed. So it's looking very nice. So we're going to start with some detangling spray / leave-in conditioner. So we're going to give that a pretty liberal spritzing all over. Ooh, it smells nice. And we'll see what that does. Give it a couple more run throughs here. Oh yeah. Oh, it's already making it 10 times softer. Oh yes. That right there is the winner. Make sure that your head is also very secured when you're doing this, because if you do run into any snags, you might find that your wig head tries to come back and attack you, and we don't want that to happen. After spraying it with the leave-in conditioner / detangling spray, I'm just going to do, as I stated before, start up at the bottom, slowly work my way up, and make sure we get out all of the tangles and knots. If there are any particular trouble spots, like knots that just will not come undone, you've tried with your fingers, you've tried with the straightening comb, you've tried with everything that you got, and there's just no way around it, you are going to have to take some scissors and cut that sucker out. But see, I was able to luckily pull that one out without very much effort or affecting of the wig whatsoever. So I'm going to give this one more brush down after applying the leave-in conditioner and detangler, and we'll see how it goes. I'll show you guys when I get done. Okay, so I've given it a very good brush down with the wide tooth detangling comb right here. It works pretty well. I can now run my fingers through a majority of the wig from top to bottom. I couldn't do that before, so it's a lot better. But if you notice down here at the bottom, the frizz is still in full effect. But we have a secret weapon for that. Good old handy dandy flat iron. Now the good thing about these is the heat will get rid of the frizz on the bottom. Only problem is most wigs are not heat resistant. This is an Arda wig, the Jareth Long, and the good thing about most Arda wigs is they are heat resistant up to 420 degrees. This puppy gets to 400 degrees in 30 seconds. Now that's a little close to the threshold for me, so because this doesn't have a temperature control on it, what I'm going to do is kick it on, wait for it to heat up, but before it gets all the way to 30 seconds, I'm going to kick it off again so that it doesn't get too hot. And I'll alternate on and off until I get to the desired effect. So what we'll do here is you'll want to take the wig in small sections, nothing too crazy for right now, just working out a little bit at a time. Something real easy for this to handle. We're going to kick it on. You're just going to crimp a small section and bring it on down. And that's going to get rid of all that frizz. Now you have to do it a couple times because, like I said, the frizz on this one is really strong. And once it starts to heat up, we'll take care of that frizz real fast. And we'll just run it a couple times. And see, it's already taken a lot of that frizz out. And then if it gets too hot, kick it off. And you can keep crimping here, but you don't have to worry about it getting overheated and causing the fibers to burn. And then if you need to, if it starts to get too hot, you can alternate comb, iron, comb, iron, and see, it slowly becomes easier to run that out, and then your tangles and whatnot all go away. So I'm going to keep that particular alternation going on back and forth for a while, working along the bottom here to get rid of this frizz, and we'll see what it looks like when we get done. Alright, the treatment has finished. I have run the flat iron up and down the wig. The quality is amazing. It's nice and silky smooth all the way through. Absolutely no frizz anymore. Look at that. Is it like new? It's pretty darn close. So I've got to say, has Undertaker had his wig restored? Most definitely. I gave it another spritz of the detangling spray after I gave it a few shots of the heat, and again I alternated, turned it on and off to keep the temperature from getting too awful hot. But all in all, I am very pleased with how it turned out. I cannot wait to get him back out there in the cosplay world and show off the nicely restored wig. So I hope you guys found this tutorial informative. This is the first time I've ever tried anything like this, so hopefully it was educational. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon, and take care. Bye-bye.